Afternoon, everyone. This is Nate G, and we're going to do a quick tutorial example lesson on chart reading and then how to play those into your trading in terms of direction and support and resistance levels. So this is a chart of the SPX, and this is today's price action. And as you can see, we were trading up around call resistance, kind of chopping around, and then we got ourselves a little bit of a flush that started there, and I was out for a good portion of the morning, and so I wasn't really trading any of this. And as I kind of came back and settled in, we were in the midst of this flush down here, and obviously, I didn't want to, try and get in the way of that or try and catch a falling knife of any kind. So what I was doing was setting up a trade for a bounce when we got to a good level. And at the time, this level here that says it's the put support and zero gamma was still the put support and zero gamma level. And so what I was waiting for was a move down into that area. Now, there's no price action to the right of that at the moment. So we were just taking a shot off of that level and to see if we could get a bounce. We had a quick stop put in below that just in case, playing, SPY contracts off the SPX chart, which I do pretty frequently. And so we took that, and this turned into a nice little bounce that we caught up into that area where it sort of stalled. And when it did stall, that came into like a quick 24-25% sniper buy using SPY options off of that level. And then we began our rollover process. And here at this level, there was not a clear level in which to take a snipe. There's not on this chart, but the previous levels, which I can put on here from earlier, this was at the time the absolute gamma level, which is this blue level. And so I put into chat, if we come up into that absolute gamma level, I'm going to take a short. And so what happens when we break an absolute gamma level or any major level and we come back up into it and retest it, then because you can see here that level also corresponds with the low for the morning, right? The bounce. I actually did play that quickly this morning, but we had broken down out of that and we had come into that put support level, and we bounced back up into the absolute gamma. So my thought was, well, we broke the low of at least the morning session and the 15-minute opening range break and bounced back up. This is going to act as a rejection point, and we're going to roll over. And so this did roll over. Obviously, per rules, it rolled back, to about 40% or so, and I took off a chunk. But then I felt like we had more downside, at least into this low here. And so I let a trailer run, and it got about 133% on that trailer, right? So what we watch for here is just continued weakness. We had, as you can see on the tick chart over here, we had weakness into at -7, 800. We touched -900, and we were just sort of working our way down. And so I wanted to let that thing run a little bit so that I could get a little bit more out of it. But I had already taken a chunk of profits at our kind of standard 30-40%, because if it reversed on us out of that level, that was going to be a problem. But then, right, we got ourselves a little bit of a bounce. So I probably took that off somewhere in here. We got ourselves a little bit of a bounce. I did not catch that bounce because I wasn't sure how high it was going to go. But we came up into this put support level one more time, right? Which is where, if we go back a little bit, we bounce. So let me show you this. So if we draw a line at the low of the bounce that we took when we were trying to take this trade off of the put support level, right? And now we get rid of, just for the sake of showing you what this looks like, we get rid of this, the gamma exposure levels to make it clearer. And let me put in, here if I go back really quickly, if I put in a line into this put support area, right? So now I have two lines on the chart, and I go get rid of it, get rid of the gamma exposure levels. So we have this line here, and we worked our way right back up into it, took some puts, and caught this flush here down into, you know, that turned into almost, it was 96%, almost 100% on that rollover, and was able to catch that. And then because we had come back up into a level that we had previously broke, I'd also mentioned in chat, you know, this we were forming a little bit of a descending triangle, right, which will come back up and it will potentially break. And then as that breaks, you're able to kind of catch that flush. But you can see that's a chart reading trade and not necessarily a sniper trade. Now, if I go and I change, you know, if we go to not a 30 minute, I'm sorry, if we go to a 30-second chart, you know, okay, yes, we do get a signal here, right? Because it's all just about price movement and oscillation, but you're not going to see that particular signal on a 1 minute. That's more of a chart read trade. But if you go to like a 30-second chart, which I don't recommend you trade on, you can get that move, right? And then again, you know, flip those out. Was pretty happy with that. Didn't really need to try and, you know, catch this pull, but then also catch this bounce. Kind of walked away for a minute, and then as I came back, we were coming into this double bottom again, and so caught this. Let me go back to a 1 minute. Coming into that double bottom, right? Got a signal and then a confirmation, and then caught that bounce for another 46% or so. So all within this little block of time here, from here to here, you know, made 5 different trades using the chart and using the you know, sniper signals, but more the chart patterns for 24, 133, 40, 95, and 46%. So if you kind of scan out on the day a little bit, that square's not going to go with me, unfortunately, but scan out on the day a little bit, and you know, you trade for, I don't know, what is that, probably an hour and a half time frame, right? And you're done for the day. If you're reading the charts right and playing off the right levels, it really works out quite well. I had one other trade earlier in here, but that was it. This was the bulk of the trading today, and all sort of based off chart patterns. So I hope that helps kind of understand those. The more you practice and the more you start to learn what patterns and where to look for, you know, chart levels. So for instance, you know, we're looking here at this buy down here. There you go. I put the gamma exposure levels back on, and you can see that this double bottom was also a gamma exposure level, the X2 level. So a double bottom off of a gamma exposure level, boom, just ride that back up into that put support level. You know, it almost just gives you, it does give you these levels in which to take shots off of. And for today specifically, they've been working really, really well. So I hope that helps, and we'll talk to you in the next one.